Welcome back, everybody. It's Orange Hat here for Monday Night Rants, number 10. Hope you're all having a wonderful day, night, especially in this dark time where people are trying to murder a presidential candidate because they simply can't stand him. And I think that it is absolutely abhorrent, especially when the mainstream media endorse this sort of political rhetoric that is, well, inciting the violence against former President Trump. And that's going to be one of the main rants for tonight. If you all want to join in the rant discussion, I will be bringing on at least one other person every now and then, depending on how many people we get. But yeah, if you want to rant, the link is in the stream or is in the live chat on YouTube, because I'm also tuning in or streaming on X so that people can watch from there as well. But yeah, everybody knows now that the person who took a shot at Donald Trump and how the media is trying to downplay it, as they have, which is absolutely criminally pathetic, in my opinion. Every single journalist who is a part of, journalist who is a part of MSNBC, CNN, ABC, and all the other lamestream media, I find them to be absolutely disgusting and they don't contribute anything to society. They are literally dregs of society that honestly should have their licenses to call themselves journalists pulled, because they have no ethics. They don't follow journalistic ethics. There's a cardinal rule in journalism. You report on not your feelings, but the facts. Every reporter on the mainstream media is not a reporter, folks. They are nothing but opinion journalists. They are opinion commentators. They have no journalistic integrity. They have no ethical sense of morality. No, they can't stand any sort of difference of opinion other than the narrative they are paid to push. And they dare call the Republican Party the party of extremism. They dare call the Republican Party or the right-wing party the ones who are inciting violence, who have inflammatory rhetoric. Well, I have a video that I'm going to show you guys. It's extensive, and it's from Newsmax. So writes the Newsmax for the video. And it goes over just how biased the media is. And you're going to hear even the Democratic presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, joke about killing Donald Trump. So yes, without further ado, let's get into this.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
You got to be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
I feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school. If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
No, I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
welcome anymore, anywhere.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Please get up in the face of some Congress people.
People will do what they do.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
We're gonna go in there, we're gonna.
Well, this is just a warning to you Trumpers. Be careful. Walk lightly. And for those of you who are soldiers, make them pay.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Going to pause it for a little bit, folks, just to give you a chance to absorb what's going on here. This is left-wing media and left-wing journalists and left-wing politicians all calling for violence. And, you know, I think it's absolutely disgusting. But, you know, let's catch some more.
And there's more.
Every single day. One, I'm a fighter and I'm relentless, but I'm a fighter and I'm relentless. A fighter and I'm relentless. I will fight like hell.
That's what I think it's all about.
We stand up and we fight back. We do not back down. We do not compromise, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. You can either lie down, you can whimper, you can pull up in a ball, you can decide to move to Canada, or you can stand your ground and fight back. And that's what it's about. We do not turning this country over to what Donald Trump has sold. We are just not. Look, people are upset and they're right to be upset. Now we can whimper, we can whine, or we can fight back. Me, I'm here to fight back. I'm here to fight back because we will not forget. We do not want to forget. We will use that vision, fight harder, we fight tougher, and we fight more passionately than ever. We still have a fight on our hands. Fight hard for the changes Americans are demanding. Get in the fight, to winning the fight, fighting. He's fighting. We'll use every tool possible to fight for this change. We'll fight, fighting hard. Serious about fighting and fight. We gotta get on our front foot and fight back. Problems, we call them out and we fight back. I'm in this fight. I am fighting. Get in this fight. And fighting, we all need to be in the fight. We all need to stay in the fight. We stay in this fight. We fought back. I am not afraid of a fight. I am in this fight all the way. You don't get what you don't fight for. Our fight. We are in this fight for our lives. This is the fight of our lives.
But we are going to make sure that this fight is not in tonight.
This is a fight for our lives, the lives of our friends and family members and neighbors. It is a fight, and it is a fight that we're going to work to make sure continues. It's a fight. It is a fight. It is a fight, and that's what this fight is for.
Well, I'm wired to fight anyone who isn't doing their job for us. I'm John Tester, and you're damn right. I approve this message.
And I'll have lots of fights ahead. I'll have
That's just a small fraction of it. Sorry, folks, I had my mic muted. But that's just a small fraction of what has been going on in the media. How left-wing politicians, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, the president, current, well, puppet in chief, in my opinion, and many others on the left side of the aisle have all condoned violence and incited violence. You have Jamal Bowman, who pulled a fire alarm to stop a vote, which is technically under the same charges as those charged on for what happened on January 6th, the tour that people took through the White House until Antifa members went in and started acting like a bunch of monkeys. And yet, when I see right-wing politicians go on, I don't see or hear a single violent, I don't hear any violent rhetoric, a single violent thought coming out of their mouth. Not a damn one. I hear them pushing and talking about when it comes to right-wingers, they are doing their best to expose Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the left wing's damning agendas. But not once do they ever say that they need to take Joe Biden out, that we need to take Kamala Harris out. Not once did anybody say that they wanted to slap Kamala Harris across the face or take Joe Biden behind, beat him. No, you don't hear any of that. Because that is not who we are. We have taken the high road. And when they take the low road, well, the Democrats, they'll also kick you. You know? As one of, Barack Obama, one of his aides once said, you know, if they go, or we go high, they go low, we kick them. Yeah, right. Are you out of your mind, man? That's just so much left-leaning, inciting calls to violence. And I just recently experienced some of it on Facebook, where a person told me to make spreading hate and whatnot in when I expressed that, you know, we don't need to keep seeing all this LGBTQ stuff shoved in our faces. He's like, why? Give me one reason without hate. And I did. Well, then he started proceeding after I gave an answer without hate, started calling me short bus and whatnot, basically a way of calling a person a retard. And well, I decided, you know what? I'm not going to put up with that crap. I am going to block. Hey, there's one in the background. And hold on one second, folks.
Hey, Orange.
How you doing, MB?
Oh, God. Holy hell, man. I mean, 2 attempts. And, yeah. I mean, fucking A, man. I mean, Joy Reid and MSNBC and CNN all but said, oh, it was staged. He planned it. Yeah, and some guy died in the process, and a firefighter died in the process. So, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's the left's way of thinking. That's not conservative way of thinking. The problem is, what do they say? They say Trump needs to tone down the fucking rhetoric because he's responsible for these attempts. You mean not the 10 years We've heard him called Nazi, Hitler, Mussolini, a fascist, a dictator. He's going to start World War III. He's an existential threat to democracy. MAGA is a domestic terrorist group. I mean, fucking A, man. We've been dealing with this shit going on, 10 fucking years? And they talk about being tolerant? They're the first thing about it. And yeah, that's the problem with the old way of the Republican and Conservative Party. We took the high road. Sorry, I don't want to take the high road. I want to fight dirty. It's like, I want to use your tactics against you.
I won't. Because, no offense, it makes us just as bad as they are. It makes us just as bad as they are, because then we give them the now, do I think that we should definitely fight back in a different way at the ballot box? Absolutely. But I do also think that maybe when it does come back to Trump in the White House, if it was me in the White House, I would say, here's the thing. MSNBC, CNN, and ABC, and CBS, you might as well turn in your press packs, because you will not be called on during this administration, or during the 4 years of this administration. You can either, if you want, you can try raising your hand. You won't be called on. We will call on other people who are objective journalists. We will call on people who are going to ask questions, not try to get gotcha moments.
No,
you
that's
you have the freedom of press, but that doesn't come with the automatic privilege of being called on when you have a question. So basically, you're going to have to get your readings and your stories secondhand, because we will not call on you. How about that?
No, I agree with that in some aspects, but what I was saying was, I'm not saying take low blows like the left does in that sense, but like you said, the way I grew up on this way, the way of getting rid of bad speech is not less speech, it's more speech.
Yep.
You got to counter these people, and that's what they've been trying to do. What do they say? Misinformation, disinformation. They keep talking about Trump is going to do an abortion ban, and it's like, no, he said it's a state level thing. They're like, oh, he's lying.
Well, here's the thing.
How do you know?
Here's how I would counter that. Every time they make a false claim, there will be an emergency broadcast. If I was president, I would fucking do this all the time. I would be watching the news. It'd be like, I am going to correct the record to this live broadcast, and I am going to show you a video of what I have said consistently. When they say I am going to do an abortion ban, I have said consistently, and even during the first debate against Joe Biden, I am against an abortion ban. I would never pass a federal abortion ban. I think that abortions are allowed under extreme circumstances. The life of the mother, rape, incest. That's Trump's stance. It's also my stance.
Okay, that's my wife's stance. But here's the kicker. This is what I call them. When we have these people talk about their body autonomy and stuff, it's like basically you want to be a 403 and use this as your own personal birth control. And what we call it is a vanity abortion.
Yeah, or abortion for convenience. You want to know whenever they make the bodily autonomy claim, men have full bodily autonomy. Bullshit. Apparently, they are unaware that when a man in the United States turns 18, their ass belongs to the military if there is a draft.
Yeah, and actually, here's the thing. It's no longer you register for the selective service. You're automatically registered when you turn 18. I had to actually register back in the day before I joined.
You're automatically registered at 18.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen to women, folks. So when it comes to men have more rights than women, no, we don't. You actually have more rights than we do.
Actually,
by the way,
oh, sorry.
And by the way, abortions were never a constitutional right. Abortions were a federal law that was built upon a lie in which Donald Trump relegated back to the states. You still have rights to abortion. It's just a state's issue now, which belongs to the people. So,
yeah, and that's the thing I've said when I hear these women say, "Well, I'm losing my body autonomy." I'm like, "No, you didn't. You actually gained more rights." Look at Ohio. They put an abortion thing in their constitution. I believe, I don't know if it's Tennessee or Kentucky. I can't remember exactly. I think it was Kentucky. They wanted to put an extreme abortion ban in, and the people said, no, we're not doing that. It's on the ballot, and they put it on the ballot, and they said no. That's what the people decided, not fucking DC, not the Supreme Court. And what I always get tired of is hearing these motherfuckers tell us that, oh, they lied. They said it was lawland. Whatever. It's a congressional hearing. I know more about I could probably name all 9 justices where only people know the 3 that Trump got in. The simple fact is, here's why there will never be an abortion ban, and here's why the Democrats are lying to you about codifying Roe v. Wade. They had 49 years to do it. They had a supermajority under the Obama administration. They went under for Obamacare. The simple fact is, neither one will ever pass. And on the off chance, the off chance it would pass, I don't think the president would sign it, whoever they are, either way, because either one is going to be political suicide. That's the point. They keep bringing it up. This is why this is why conservatives have been trying to get Roe v. Wade out of this SCOTUS thing, because it wasn't a law. It was a precedent set by the Supreme Court as basically a compromise. Okay, Roe v. Wade, Casey versus Planned Parenthood, all got overturned by the Dobbs decision, because what happened? When they went in with the Dobbs, they just figured they'd get the same thing they always got. And all of a sudden, oh, Trump did that. No, you putting the Dobbs decision up there did that.
I mean, yeah, they love to say that Trump is responsible for killing Roe v. Wade. No, he really isn't, because Trump wasn't in office. How could he have been how could he have killed Roe v. Wade when he held no political office at the time? It was up to the person who brought it to the Supreme Court. Whoever that is, they did it, or they are responsible for killing Roe v. Wade. But another thing, the law of the land doctrine, to go back to that, law of the land literally is an unwritten rule, essentially, unfortunately. Although I think it might actually be written somewhere, that if any law directly contradicts the Constitution, it is automatically null and void. Meaning, anybody who tries to enforce a law that is against law of the land is technically in violation of the law.
One of the things also most people don't know when they talked about, well, this is unprecedented, they overturned Roe v. Wade. I'm like, excuse me, the Supreme Court over its lifetime has overturned 300 rulings from a prior Supreme Court. 300. Do you know what the first, most of you will not know this, I do. The first time Congress said, or not Congress, sorry. Congress passed a law. It was the compromise. It was the Missouri Compromise of 1820. Well, when that came into dispute, it went before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional. That was the first time they ever struck down a congressional law.
Yeah. The thing is, they love to spread these lies. I mean, during that last debate, I caught highlights. I didn't watch the debate because I cannot stand the woman's voice. But they didn't fact check her at all. And in fact, the whistleblower's testimony and affidavit came out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Disney is now implicated. I think there needs to be some congressional hearings that polls Disney or that summons Disney to Congress.
Yeah, no,
like, no, you guys, let me finish, please. You guys have a lot to answer for. Did you put your thumb on the scale? Did you, due to your friendship with Kamala Harris, tell them or hand them this paper that says you cannot discuss this, you cannot discuss this, you can discuss this. Do not worry. We will fact check Trump. You do not have to worry about that. I think that heads need to roll at Disney, for one. And two, I think that there needs to be criminal proceedings brought against the Kamala Harris campaign.
Yeah, for election interference.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, we're seeing all that. And you could tell, now I actually watched the full debate. And this was a 3-on-1 debate. But one thing I've learned in my lifetime of watching things like this is when you have those split screens like that, what you want to do is you listen to the person who's talking and then you watch how the other person reacts. And Kamala Harris did like this, and you could tell she was so uncomfortable being around him. The only thing I think her coaching people did was tell her, don't do the word salad shit, and don't do your fucking calculate. Well, yeah, she did. She was very broad and everything because that's all they know how to do. I mean, that's a typical politician. You just go broad. I mean, I watched her interview when it was like, well, what are you going to do about inflation? So, well, I grew up in a middle-class family and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. Sorry, I'm Gen X. Shut the fuck up and get to the point. I don't care about your past. And it was like Trump could stay on point and talk about things. And yeah, he got fact checked like 5 times. They didn't fact check it all. They brought up Project 2025, even though Trump's is Agenda 47. I thought that might have been a missed opportunity by Trump, but you know what? I'm not one of those people who's bitching about what he missed those moments on, because I think he still did pretty well. He knew what he was doing, but he's had, 6-7 debates now in presidential debates. This is the first time she's done one since she ran for vice president against
Pence.
Yeah, Pence. And I mean, come on. Pence is
what I do like is that Trump is like, excuse me, I'm speaking.
I love that moment.
Does that sound familiar?
Remember that one?
Sound familiar? Yep.
No, I love that.
Fuck. And she's like, oh, no, you fucking didn't.
You did.
Yeah.
Because he was talking while he was, because he was smart. He knew exactly what she wanted. She wanted him with the muted mics because she wanted the open mic. She wanted that, excuse me, I'm talking moment like she had with Mike Pence. But she's not capable enough to understand Trump is a lot smarter than that. He's got a bigger team than she has. And he's been in you know what? They can talk about being an attorney general and a senator and everything. This man has dealt with international leaders on business deals. Sorry, I'm kind of like, this guy is very seasoned in this guy, but he knew that's what she wanted. And then once she started talking while the mic was muted, he's like, excuse me, I'm talking here. Sound familiar? And it was, she's like,
bird.
Yeah, and I was actually hoping, no, that was a thrill for me because I was hoping he would get that moment to be like, the fuck you moment. Be like, yeah, so I stole your moment. And then afterwards, what'd she do? She didn't go in the Fox News debate, so it turned into a town hall. She only agreed to the ABC debate to the rules until they said, well, she's going to be handcuffed. It's like, wait a minute. You talked a lot of good game until you realized, oh, shit, I might not actually do as well as I thought. I want to have, and all Trump asked for was a live audience.
Yeah.
And I thought, he's like, okay, but I love the fact that he's showing up for this. And then when you look at the affidavit, it was like, well, if we don't agree to these terms, the Harris campaign might not show up. And you know what they wanted? They wanted the fucking ratings. So let's cut the bullshit. It was all about the ratings and trying to make Trump look bad. And all she did was show how she's just a typical politician who doesn't tell you jack shit. Just as in the same time, everything I heard in her say about things is, I'm like, I've heard these talking points for 20 years now. And I really think it was a disservice that they didn't bring up the fact that it's like, well, because all of us are saying it's like, well, my first day in office. Bitch, your first day in office was January 20th.
Yeah.
So you had 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, June, you got anything you want to rant about?
It's amazing how, well, I don't know. It's just amazing how history repeats itself in a matter of 2 months, right?
Yeah, I covered that. The beginning of my stream, I actually showed a video of how it's like 5 minutes so far of left-wingers on the media or in the media inciting violence.
Oh, and, yeah, I saw that one too. I saw that one.
I'm just sorry. I was going to say that guy. I have seen some interviews with that guy. I can't even finish watching interviews with that guy because that guy. I feel like that evil presence with him. He is evil. The guy that the new one that had an assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
That guy.
Yeah, he just seems evil.
Well, he says that he was a Republican back in 2016, voted for Trump, but then he's been donating to nothing but Democratic causes and has a Biden-Harris sticker on the back of his truck and is all gung-ho for this and that, wants to go to Ukraine, fight a war. It's like, this dude has been radicalized by the left wing.
Mm-hmm.
They need to push that till the rest of the election. The second gunman who made an attempt on my life unsuccessfully was radicalized by left-wing ideology, had Biden-Harris sticker on the back of his truck. It seems that this man listened to the mainstream media for years as left-wing politicians went on the media and said on live TV that they want to take me out, that they should put a bullet in my head, that they should punch me in the face, take me behind the bleachers and beat the hell out of me, and all those other things.
Target on him. One lady did a Freudian slip and said, shoot, and I'm like, no, that's what you want. That's what you're all begging for. Stop trying to play it. You've hated this guy for 10 years. You loved him all your lives until he ran as a Republican. And he committed the greatest sin that you could do. Stopped Hillary Clinton from being president. And that to them is unforgivable.
Patrick Bet David, YouTube Harbor, said it best on why they're going after Donald Trump. He broke Almerte. You guys know what that is?
He broke the system, or he interrupted.
It's a code. It means it's a code of silence that the mafia used. And so basically, when you sit there and say fake news, you're breaking the code of silence. And so then when he called them out, that was the final straw. Because he knew, because one of the things that Walt Disney said, when you control the media, you control the culture.
Yes.
And so Donald Trump knew that.
Oh, wow.
And
sorry, breaking news, folks. Both assassins have one thing in common, besides trying to kill Trump.
What?
BlackRock.
Oh, no. What?
They were both in BlackRock commercials.
Oh, that they were both in the BlackRock commercials.
Yep.
Fuck.
Literally watching it right here, man.
Oh my God!
Both of them were in BlackRock commercials and shit.
All right. For
I'm
those
sorry.
who don't know, Orange Hat, explain what BlackRock is.
BlackRock is one of the major owners of Disney. They are one of the main controlling shareholders. That's basically all I know about it. They got their hands on a lot of other things, but with that right there, BlackRock needs to be subpoenaed before Congress and investigated, in my opinion.
LotR needs to be in front of Congress. In fact, the entire board needs to be in front of Congress.
The people who run BlackRock need to be investigated.
So
if both of these shooters were associated with BlackRock, they need to be investigated criminally. I'm sorry. It needs to happen fucking tomorrow. Actually, no, it needs to happen like yesterday.
Okay, here's the thing, what I say with people. Hold on a second, Jimbuck, and I'll let you finish here. One of the things is when they say, oh, well, this is not a big deal, it's just a coincidence. Well, then bring your ass before Congress and state that and show me the receipts. I don't like hearing, oh, well, they said this, they did an internal investigation. First off, an internal investigation, trust me. I know that word all too well. It's sometimes code name for cover-up.
BlackRock is a financial firm along with Vanguard. It's two separate companies, but they basically, one of the reasons why the entire country seems to be going woke is BlackRock and Vanguard are the type of people that say, hey, we'll give you money if you support these ideologies, the entire woke agenda. Vivek Ramaswamy wrote a book called Woke Inc. and basically broke it down on what they do. And it's an entire financial firm that was started in the 80s basically to get a bunch of bankers out of debt. Because it was during the Wall Street crash in the 80s when they started. And then they became one of the most influential banks in the United States, along with Vanguard and there's the guy in, I can't remember who's the head of BlackRock right. I was getting confused with somebody else. I think it is something Beck, but it's not something like that.
So this is interesting, though. The fact that BlackRock, folks, yeah, they're an investment firm or whatever, financial firm. What Junebug said. But the fact that these two shooters are in their commercials, that needs to be fucking investigated. I just quote tweeted my fucking representative. It's like, as a voter of your district, I am asking that you open an investigation into BlackRock for the attempted assassination, for the multiple attempted assassinations of Donald Trump.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, my representative is running for governor, so I'm definitely going to hit him up. And the one other person who's running for our House of Representatives, I'm going to be like, you better be demanding this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, if I was Donald Trump right now and I figured this out, I'd be sitting there saying, basically telling Donald Trump, if I was even his advisor right now, I'd sit there saying, listen, right now, let's face it, Donald Trump's biggest enemy is Donald Trump. Sometimes he needs to keep his big mouth shut. But what I would sit there and say to him right now, shut up about this right now, but have a plan right now to shut BlackRock down.
I would say this, because I've seen a lot of people, and even I went on Truth Social and on X about this, and I agree with a lot of people. I would not trust the Secret Service under this administration right now to protect him, and I think he needs to hire his own personal security.
Yeah, he might be able to. He probably could.
No, I know he could. I just don't know if he will, but I think he should. I mean, that's 2 attempts. I mean, the last time this kind of thing happened was Reagan.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I heard some statistic saying that we are the country that has had a lot besides England, but that was more their own family. But we are the one of the second countries to have the most assassination attempts and ones that succeeded on our entire history of a country, besides for individuals, not within their own families, basically, is what the statistics was saying. I don't know how true that was, but it was just interesting to listen to that. And I'm like, it kind of goes back to maybe let's actually teach people proper gun safety. I mean, I always, I always bring it up but everybody sits there and says how my dad overdid this, but I don't blame him for this. I even had to treat squirt guns like they were loaded. So before I could play with the squirt gun, I had to, pump it, do check it and everything else before I could play with the squirt gun.
Yeah, it's called muscle memory. The whole point is you do it over and over again until it becomes natural. That's the whole point of it. You have to. It's like my 9mm or my M4s or anything. I took my kids out to the range and stuff one weekend. I taught them how to shoot. And then the next weekend after that, and this is 10 years ago, so we've done a few times. We've done many times since then. And it was like, okay, you shot the guns last week. This week, we break them. I'm going to show you how to break them down. I'm going to show you how to clean it. Mm-hmm. The whole thing, this is a very interesting thing I've heard once when they said, it's like, just think of the gun like porn. If you take the mystery out of it, it's not going to be that tempting for them to come get it from you. It's when your kids are told, don't touch that, don't touch that, don't touch it. And what do fucking kids do?
I'm going to touch it.
I'm going to touch it. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to wait till I got a moment.
I'm going to do it. Don't you do it. I'm going to do it.
Well, yeah.
We wait for the moment when we can do it. It's like, okay, for example, I wasn't taught very well gun safety back in my early days. Now, nothing bad happened. We had a pellet gun. And I was, of course, always told not to touch it, not to play with it or anything. But I was a latchkey kid, and it was summertime. So what do you think I did? I played with the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh.
Well, I don't. If I touched my dad's gun, he always sit there and told me, if you don't touch the gun, and I know what you're gonna do, you're gonna touch it, and if you touch it, he's told me that I'm gonna meet Mr. Belt. Or it says, and if I catch you touching it, it's probably gonna be Mr. Paddle.
Well, what happened to me was I got caught one time playing with the pellet gun when they walked in, and unfortunately I pointed it at my stepdad, and he was like, "This better not be loaded," and I'm like, I am so I'll be honest, I'd rather have had my stepdad whip my ass that time, because at least it was his hand. My mom would go out and get a singing switch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what we need to do now to get some of these kids in line. We need to go back to actually spanking kids again.
Well, guess what I didn't do again?
Yeah?
Yeah, you think? Sorry, I'm Gen X. I learned fuck around, find out. I learned my lesson after my punishment. It's like, okay, I'm not doing that again.
Oh no, unfortunately I'm considered a millennial, but like I'm that dividing line. I remember dial-up internet. So
we all
remember. Were you born between 81 and 84? Or were you born between 81 and 84?
92.
Oh. You're a millennial, but you get it.
85.
You're Orange. You're Gen X +1, so you're still in the club. You're in the club. If you're within that 5-year window, you're still in the club. A6, nope.
But anyway,
A6, you're millennial.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. Ambassador, did we expand it from the 4-year rule for the Zillennials to the 5-year rule? Are we taking in the 85 people?
I can't see why not.
I figured they'd be okay, but that's the cutoff.
Okay,
man, I guess.
Nope. Sorry, Jimbo. You're not Gen X +1. You're outside Gen X +1.
It's okay.
You are just a millennial.
It's okay. It's okay.
He's a millennial with Gen X values. He's a millennial with Gen X values.
I would actually argue.
Wrong with it.
I would actually argue.
We're just obviously we're just cheesing.
I know.
This is Gen X. This is just Gen X humor. I'm sure you've gotten used to
it.
We tease.
I actually would argue a millennial with our greatest generation values for myself. So
I can respect that.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Because I was essentially raised by my grandparents, so who were born.
You're definitely a millennial with Gen X values. So yeah,
they were born at the tail end of the greatest generation, 35 and 36. So
yeah.
You're
not in the club, but you're sort of in the club.
You know,
he's in the club by proxy.
Yeah,
well, he's invited into the club. He's invited into the club.
Yeah, you're in the club by proxy.
We're all Gen Xers here, or Gen X again, and quite frankly, there's 2 Gen Xers here. We don't give a fuck what other people think. We are like, hey, we say you have some tendencies to it, fine. No problem to it.
Well, that's actually why I came on tonight, because I actually have a rant about something.
Go for it.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt, so
go for it. You're not, or we're moving on to it now.
Okay, good. Here's the premise of my rant. I feel that geeks of the current generations are a hell of a lot more soft than geeks of our generation or just a little bit past our generation, and it really pisses me the hell off. And I kind of talked about this a little bit last night on our stream.
Oh yeah.
And I gotta say this. All these so-called, and yes, I'm gonna use the word, all these so-called geeks and nerds. Oh, I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, I like Star Wars. No, you're not a geek or a nerd. You haven't been swirled. You haven't had to beat up the biggest bully in your school. The worst you've had to deal with is being gluten intolerant or dealing with some spazoid who thinks that he's the biggest bully, but he can't even bench 150 pounds. Your bully is some snot-nosed little pimple-faced dweeboid who can't even pick up an iPod without straining himself. You didn't go through the geek wars of the 80s and the 90s, or even the late 70s, 80s, and 90s. You didn't have to.
Nerds ring a bell?
You did. Say again, Orange.
Revenge of the Nerds ring a bell?
Yes. Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah.
Yes.
These geeks and nerds nowadays, they're soft. To quote a favorite 90s movie of mine, they're soft. They like discipline. I sound like a certain.
Fuck, I know that.
Diddy's been arrested.
But what is it?
Diddy's been arrested. Breaking as of 2 minutes ago. Diddy's been arrested in New York.
Diddy? P.
Diddy Combs. Yep. They finally got him. He finally came out of. He fucking got him.
Out of all places to hide, he hides in New York.
Well, he's not known for being terribly bright. And
Ambassador, I'll let you finish. I just want to respond.
Sorry.
Go ahead, respond. I can pick up. Go ahead, respond to that.
Quick, but I mean, the whole thing is we went through the bullying. We weren't the cool people. We were the outcasts.
Yeah.
We were the people that were shunned. We were made fun of. And
we're the fucking Breakfast Club. We are the basket case. We're either the basket case or the nerd from the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I mean, we just basically, it was like, hey, you like this, you like that? Hey, come into our group. We're cool with you. You know, that's why I always said geeks and nerds were the most accepting groups in any culture. And now it's not that way anymore because these people, as I know Ambassador Orange Hat has heard me say, these people invaded our sandbox and decided to say how the rules need to be changed.
Your mother. Yeah, let me get back into my rant here. These modern day geeks and nerds, they do not know the struggle that we went through so that they could express their geekdom and their nerddom freely. We paved the way. We were the trailblazers. And no, I'm not comparing this to like the social justice movement of the 60s or 70s by no means. Obviously, I'm not. I'm being a little tongue in cheek here, which everybody knows is what Gen X does best. These geeks and nerds nowadays, they want their soy latte and they want their lactose-free hot chocolate and they want to make sure that they respect everybody's pronouns and they want to make sure they don't misgender anybody and they want their pop culture to be nice and safe and sanitized and they want to make sure they don't offend anybody. I offended people on a daily basis, and I still do to this day at the age of 46. And I want to be like Bart Simpson. And I want to get a massive megaphone. And I want to go up to a really tall building, and I want to be at a pop culture con or something. And I want to just get that. I want to lick my lips just like Bart. And I want to say, "You're all fakes." And have it just reverberate and just shake everybody. Be like, "What the hell just happened? Was that the rapture?"
Well, Ambassador, one of the things that I thought was so funny was all, the sites I used to go to where the geek sites and nerd sites where I used to get my information and stuff, they've all been taken over by activists and apparently can't figure out what an editor is or proofread a goddamn thing.
Well, not to mention they can't figure out what bathroom to go to.
Oh yeah, definitely that. They don't even know what bathroom they gotta go to. And
do I go to the men's or do I go women's or do I go to the family bathroom? But I don't have a family because I don't know what gender I am. Sorry, go ahead, MB.
No, it's just one of these things where I've heard these young actors and their whole thing, and it's like, well, I want to see myself represented on there. Okay, you don't need, you can be a homosexual and still identify with a person on a show. Just because they're not gay doesn't mean you can't identify with them. Look, when it comes down to it, do you know who I know most people's popular character out of, other than Luke Skywalker, is? It's not Han Solo. Everybody wanted to be Lando. Because who didn't want to be that smooth-talking, suave man?
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
yeah.
But
and
you know,
I mean,
it just... Go ahead.
Well, what I'm saying is, and then you got these people now, it's like they want to make these video games like, I want to make a character that looks exactly like me. I'm like, no, that's not why I'm playing the game. I don't want a Spider-Man. I don't want to play Spider-Man and look like I do. I want to play a game and it look like Spider-Man and just have fun. They've forgotten about the escapism.
To some degrees, yes. To some degrees, no. But here, here's the other really frustrating thing. These geeks and nerds nowadays, they don't know what it means to fight for a fandom that they love. They just accept it. They just roll over. They're like, oh, so you want to take Luke Skywalker and completely strip him of all his heroic attributes and turn him into a sympathetic loser that's living on an island all alone, drinking green milk and waiting to die? Okay, I'm okay with that. Thank you. Can I have some more of that, please?
Green titty
Dude,
milk.
These kids nowadays, these geeks and these nerds, they don't know what it means to look at something that you love and that you care about. And regardless of what fandom it is, I mean, it doesn't have to be anything mainstream. It can be something really obscure and it completely deviates from what they know is the actual canon of a show.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just not willing. I mean, I know we all have other things in our lives that are, to one degree or another, more important than this. But we used to debate this stuff.
Yeah.
We used to debate it, and we used to, at times, used to get heated. But now, if you get even a little bit of temperature or pushback, everybody gets like, he's hurting my feelings. I feel microaggression. I don't want to talk about this no more. I'm too afraid. When back in my day and your day, Geek, and yours, Orange, we're like, no, you dumbass son of a scruffy looking nerf herder. No. Okay, I'll give you a comic. I'll give you a more common context. Galactus was not a giant cloud. If they pulled this crap in the 90s with Galactus, oh, there would have been fights throughout high schools everywhere and elementary and junior highs everywhere. What the hell did they do to Galactus? They turned him into a freaking cloud? What the hell is this? And now the others are like, well, it's okay. Galactus can be a giant cloud. No, he can't. Well, who cares? It's just a fictional character. It's Galactus. It's one of the most iconic characters in the history of Marvel Comics, you dumbass. He's not supposed to be a cloud. He's supposed to be a gigantic alien dressed in kick-ass purple armor and has a ship and has all these freaking heroes that can kick the ass out of every superhero on Earth. What the hell are you thinking? They're just it just makes me just a little bit unhinged, but in a non-violent way.
May I say something about Orange Hat before you
go ahead?
I think one of the things I was keying in on that is the exact same with you. These people don't want escapism. They want to just see what they think the world could be in their view in some strange way, shape, or form, but in a warped idea. I mean, they got 1984 warped idea. It's like we're loving, we're tolerant, we're accepted. Just shut up about your personal things if you don't agree with us, and we'll accept you. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works in the geek nerd community. We love diversity of thought. I'm not a
yes.
I am not
like natural diversity. We also like organic diversity.
Yes,
we don't like
exactly.
diversity.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm no token scholar. So when people talk, so I could only base it on reading The Hobbit, the animated movie I saw back in the day, and the Lord of the Rings movies, and reading the books. But that does not make me a Tolkien scholar just because I read the books. Now, Star Trek, I am very knowledgeable on. I used to be even more knowledgeable. And Star Wars, I'm very knowledgeable. There are certain IPs people are very passionate about. And that's the thing, when you said, Ambassador, when people get heated, it's not that we're yelling and screaming and hurting people's feelings. We're just passionate. And the best thing is, like I said, I didn't know Lord of the Rings very well other than the movies and reading the books. So I don't know anything about any of other Tolkien's workings. But when I watched a couple of episodes of Rings of Power, I was like, this looks cheap.
What the hell is this?
I was like, this looks cheap. This looks like crap. This does not look like Gadriel at all. And I'm like, she's not even the right size.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I can get it. Now, if you want to really dig into Lord of the Rings lore, I can give you 2 YouTube channels that will help you get your feet underneath you. Nerd of the Rings and Men of the West. 2 really good Lord of the Rings lore channels. They've done what ifs. They've done character discussions. They've done.
DM me their links, buddy.
Sure, will do.
As for while he's doing that, I actually want to give my counter to the Galactus Cloud thing.
Fine.
What if the Cloud was actually his ship and Galactus was inside of the ship, as it is kind of shown when he says, I will no, or when Silver Surfer goes in and says, I will no longer serve, and you actually see a shape of Galactus in the Cloud. So it's like,
I never saw a shape.
Well, go back and watch it.
I did.
Go back.
I never saw a shape.
Well, then you need to go back and watch it very closely, because when the flame stuff starts coming towards him, it's Galactus's face, man. It's Galactus's head.
Yeah,
I don't want his head.
But as I was saying,
yes,
it could that could have just been simply the way that I reconcile it is Storm. That Storm is the ship. Galactus is inside it because, well, or you see him inside, just flame shaped and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's how I reconcile it. Did they or could they have done a different version of Galactus? Absolutely, they could have fucking done a different version.
Yeah, they could have,
but they didn't, and so, well, it was a bad reveal.
Yes. Well, in my case, sorry, Ambassador. In my case, Silver Surfer has been one of my favorite characters. I always thought he was amazing when I read some of the early Fantastic Fours. And I had several of his series before I sold them when I was a teenager. But yeah, Silver Surfer was always kind of really awesome to me, and I was so excited about.
He was essentially the voice of Stan Lee.
Well,
that was actually something they said. It's like Silver Surfer is essentially the voice of Stan Lee in the comics.
Well, maybe that's what worked for me, because I absolutely loved his character. And then when we get this, Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, I'm like, oh, great. I mean, I was so hooked on that. And then I less cared about Galactus and how they portrayed the Silver Surfer, how they portrayed Norma.
And they did a good job. I mean, they did.
Hey, Orville.
Hey,
BJ.
Hey, BJ. Long time no see, buddy. But yeah, here's the thing, MB.
Yeah.
Did I like the interpretation of the Silver Surfer? Yeah, I did. I mean, Lawrence Fishburne as the voice of Silver Surfer, absolute perfect casting for his voice. I mean, even the idea of Doom building the cosmic power siphon and siphoning the power off of the Silver Surfer, accurate right down to the comics. I love that.
No, I loved a lot of the aspects of it, but I think one of my biggest issues was my biggest problem with the first movie was, and by the way, I have a huge, Jessica Alba's in my top 5, by the way. So we'll just leave it there. And that's why I really was into the first one. But I was like, they did not do, and then unfortunately, they just did not do Dr. Doom right. And then I thought in the second movie, they bringing Doom back in was a huge mistake.
I agree. I mean, don't get me wrong, Gillian McMahon as Doom, he had the right aura to him and everything, but there were just certain aspects of him that just didn't quite work the way they should have with the character. I mean,
but he was never. Oh, sorry.
No, I was done. Go ahead. It's fine.
Oh, but I mean, the whole thing is what I'm hoping out of this, because I really do have a love for the first Marvel family. Always have.
I do too, but I have absolutely no.
So, Blade and Whistler. Or are you talking about comic-wise?
No, the first family. I'm hoping that this adaptation, as best it can get it, because I thought the trailer was decent. I just, please don't spend the whole fucking first act doing their powers thing. Actually, what I would really like is, since Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doom, I like the opening to be him and Latmira doing what he does.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. It's pronounced Latveria.
Sorry, Latveria.
Not whatever you said.
Okay, Latveria. But I want them to portray him as he is actually a hero in his own country. And he is a cross. I heard this example a little while ago and I agreed with it. He's kind of a cross between Doctor Strange and Tony Stark.
That's true. Yeah, because he is a very gifted sorcerer, and he is a technologist, much like Stark is.
And he's basically just without the moral quandaries of Stark. This dude erases planet or erases universes in order to save his own, which was done during the Incursion arc. But since we are talking comics, let's actually go over a little. Or how many of you guys have seen the final trailer to Venom 3? I mean, me and Ambassador talked about it last night.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Junebug?
No, didn't see it.
Not so much. No, it didn't suck.
They revealed Null, the symbiote guy. They dropped him in the damn trailer, or they put him in the trailer, and I'm like, this is not something you freaking put in a trailer. This is something that needs to be revealed in the movie. And not only that, these movies are comedy driven, so I'm kind of worried.
Yeah.
these are because Venom, the Venom movies they're comedy driven. They have comedy in them. The first one wasn't so ham-fisted with the comedy. The second one was a lot more comedy heavy. This one, comedic and whatnot. This one, they seem to be going that route still, but having a character like Null, and I described this in last night's weekly recap, folks. Null sliced the head off of a Celestial without a weapon and used his head for a forge to create the very first symbiote blade, which was the All Black. The All Black is a symbiote. It is a solidified symbiote sword. So having him in a comedy movie, you better get all your fucking comedy out before this dude drops on Earth.
Yeah.
Because once he comes to Earth, it's going to be like the first person he comes across, he'll kill. It's like, I am not here to fuck around. I am not here to play around. I am here to fucking take this planet over.
Yep.
You get in my way, you're either dead or you're assimilated into the symbiote army. This is that kind of guy.
He's like the Borg Queen, only with a more. He's more
it's the same thing.
You know that you see, or we've all seen the Eternals, most likely. Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Well, the big dude in space, Arishem. Null chopped off one of those guys' heads and used that freaking head for a forge to create the All Black sword. So yeah, this guy in a comedy movie, it's like this is looking like it's going to be dead, or this looks like it's going to be freaking Let There Be Carnage all over again, where you put a rated R villain in a PG-13 movie.
Oh God, that was the worst thing. Woody Harrelson, if they had done it R-rated, I'm sorry, Orange Eye, but if they had let this be R-rated, Woody Harrelson
should have
owned it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, but also giving Cletus Cassidy a love interest was a very big mistake.
Yes, God,
Cletus Cassidy doesn't get it up unless he's killing somebody.
Yeah.
Well, I remember Orange Hat. Oh, sorry, Jimbo, but just give me a second. I remember the first time when Carnage showed up as a cameo in one episode of issue of Amazing Spider-Man, and then I still remember the words out of Carnage when I opened the page. Do you know why you're about to die? And then at the end of it, after he's getting off on this, he's torturing this guy, putting fear in him. And he's like, why? For the love of God, why? And he goes, why? And he pulls his stuff up, because I can. That's what Carnage is.
I just never have been much of a fan of the Venom movies because it's like, I remember Tom Hardy saying once in an interview that when he plays Eddie Brock, he feels the need to get hammered. And I'm like, what is it? What is it? And then after you know that, it's like you can tell in his performance that he's drunk throughout the entire performance.
Holy shit, yeah, right?
And it's like, what is it about Eddie Brock that, like, I've seen the 90s cartoon. I read one of the comics. I don't remember which one it was.
Oh my God, the 90s cartoon was so great when it came to Venom, dude, because Venom had that guttural growl. And then they come out with Spider-Man 3 and he's freaking sounding like an actual Tasmanian devil. The screech of a Tasmanian devil. If you've heard those fuckers, that's what you hear in the Venom or in Spider-Man 3. And I'm like, why are they giving Venom the sound of carnage?
Well, in Spider-Man 3, I will say this. What was it? Topher Grayson? Is that his name?
Topher Grace, yes.
I'm sorry. Eddie Brock is supposed to be a big, bulky motherfucker.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be built. He wasn't supposed to be he wasn't supposed to be the person that was originally going to be cast as Peter Parker.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
that's
hell.
basically.
Oh hell no! Please tell me you're joking.
No, Topher
No.
Grace was originally going to be Peter Parker.
Oh dear.
Oh,
No.
McGuire?
No. Just no.
Yeah, Tobey
no.
Maguire got it over Topher Grace.
Oh, thank heavens.
Thank
No.
God. Thank God for
Topher
that.
Grace as Peter Parker?
Yeah.
Oh for peace. No.
Well, if that
He was
happened,
okay. He was okay in 70s show, but beyond that, no. Oh dear,
Oh.
no. I'm
Junebug?
looking. Sorry.
Junebug, you were saying?
Well, I was going to sit there and say, man, if Topher Grace played Spider-Man, I couldn't help but sit there and call him a dumbass the entire time. But no, like I'm still trying to figure that one out though. What is it about Eddie Brock that makes Tom Hardy think he needs to get hammered? Because I don't ever recall Eddie Brock really being a drunk or anything in the comics. I'm like, so after you kind of know that, like, watch the performance and keep it in mind that like Tom Hardy is like getting beyond British acting level hammered.
Yeah, he comes across as hammered all the time. I mean, honestly, when he gets when he's getting fired in the first one, he's like, he's a crook, and I'm like, dude, have you been drinking?
Yeah, well, I mean, no, he said that he every time he plays Venom in an interview, it was like on one of those shows like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. I don't know where you could find it now, but he said, well, they said, how did you prep for the character? He says, I drank a lot of beer and just got drunk. I'm like, what is it about Eddie Brock that makes you think that you need to get drunk to play him? Like,
Because
then again,
he's kind of depressed.
I mean, I guess, but that is just British acting too. Like the British actors that we all know and love, Peter O'Toole and Robert Shaw, and all those great British actors were just.
Him.
Oh yeah,
I miss Robert Shaw so much.
Fun fact about Robert Shaw, folks: if you are watching like the special features to making of the Jaws, Richard Dreyfuss is talking about the scene where they get the first pull on the line, and where you see him spinning in the chair and whatnot, during that scene when they were shooting it, Robert was extremely sick and in pain, and so when they're trying to sit him down, he's sitting really slow. But the second they call action, it's like, "Hey, idiot, stop! What ain't you watching it?" I mean, that's how professional that man was.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did the take on the Indianapolis, even though they got the date wrong by one day, but it's like, dude, everybody, including the people behind the camera, were transfixed on him. They actually, of course, were lucky enough to get it done in that take, because even the cameramen were starting to be like, he's speaking as if he was actually there. You know?
For all we know, he might have been.
I mean,
for all we know. For all we
You
know.
know, I like what Conroy here, 1776, but I don't agree with the casting. I would see Tom Cruise as Hal Jordan. Guy Gardner, who would be a good Guy Gardner? Also, we got to think about the other two.
Well, here's the thing. He's discussing James Gunn's new DC universe. No offense, Conroy, I absolutely have no interest in James Gunn's DC universe, because I do not support a person who wants to touch kids.
For Pete's sakes.
No Pete's sakes about it. James Gunn made jokes about that shit. Not only that, he hosted a party that was that kind of people themed. Jokes, or everybody's like, oh, they were just jokes. Then what about the parties he throws?
Well,
I'm sorry, but there are two things. That's two things that tells you that this man has a very unhealthy attraction to kids.
Well, not only that, let's be honest. If people say
And this is years old knowledge, folks. This shit's years old. This was reported on by Bounding into Comics a few years back. I reported on it on my channel. And everybody's like, but they seem to have forgotten that was reported on.
No,
Well,
they're
like, how is this not
strictly editing it. Haven't you noted? What? Anybody else here besides me read 1984?
I have not read that book, sadly.
War is peace. Slavery is freedom. Yeah, I've read it.
Yeah.
Ignorance is strength.
Read the Communist Manifesto.
Uh-huh.
But I'm gonna have to get out of here in a minute because I'm
just saw Josh. Yeah, I get it, I get it, Conroy. A lot of people. Hey, I will acknowledge that James Gunn is a gifted director. The dude did a good job with the Guardians 1 and 2. 2, not so much. 3, I haven't seen it. I just cannot bring myself to watch anything that man has done.
I would recommend it. My family and I all watched it when it came out on D+.
But also knowing how strong Adam Warlock is in the comics and knowing that he's been most likely very nerfed in this movie. Adam Warlock was the person who, in one universe, actually solved the Incursion Crisis.
After the Infinity War comic, we eventually had Warlock and the Infinity Watch.
Yeah,
I remember that comic.
And then the Infinity Crusade, but that didn't do too well.
No, it didn't. But Warlock and the Infinity Watch was his plan was to.
I only know so much.
Films out.
Well, I'm not very heavy in the comics. I only Comics Explained on YouTube is where I get a lot of my comic story and comic lore information. Specifically World War Hulk, because I absolutely love that story. I may never have picked up a comic book to read it, but basically he gave the entire story. And it's like, dude, he went up against everybody and he just floored everybody. Hulk fucking conquered the earth.
The only thing that sucks is, from what I've heard, unless that's just changed, Comics Explained kind of hung up his spurs because he kind of got disillusioned with everything that's been going on in the MCU. And I can't say I blame him because he is a comic purist, and I do respect that immensely. And he didn't care for all the changes that were being done inside the MCU. So, I mean, I will still watch the guy's stuff, his older stuff, because, well,
I can watch his older stuff. I just can't watch his newer shit. I just can't bring myself to do that.
Well, like I said, I don't know if he's still even doing his channel per se.
Whose?
Star Wars Explained, or not Star Wars? Explained,
no.
Comics.
Yeah,
I meant
Comics
to say
Explained.
comics.
He still does stuff. Yeah, he still does.
Okay, okay, I didn't know.
I mean, he was covering the Godzilla versus Kong versus Sleep.
Oh, okay.
Where freaking King Kong apparently is a Green Lantern.
That's a hell of a thing.
I haven't actually watched that on Max yet, but I'm getting around to it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not the hugest fan of the American Kong movies. I was never really a huge fan of.
Well, Kong is American.
I did see Gojira, and I did see the Americanized version of Godzilla. But Godzilla -1, I'm like, that was just so fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I am just like, I don't know if I'm going to watch this movie.
I'll tell you
Godzilla -1 color is honestly the best Godzilla movie I have ever seen. And when I did my Godzilla reviews, folks, I have said minus color is objectively better than -1.
Cool.
Without the color, you don't need it.
Sometimes you just need black and white. I mean, I've said this about
so much the black and white. They actually, for each frame that changed, they made it so that the saturation of the black and white fit the lighting and all of that. They actually did the scaling for the black and white and whatnot. And also they did they made it look as if it would, or they kind of also gave the 50s feel with the small little
vignette
around the camera. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, son of a bitch, they're really going for it. The only problem is if you look at Gojira from actual 54, when they're on boats and stuff, you don't get a shaky cam. When they're doing it in 2024, 70 years later,
you get shaky cam.
You get your shaky cam. You get your more natural movements. Where in the other one, you don't get those movements, so you know it's an older movie. And when they did the digital,
they couldn't do it back then.
Yeah, obviously. when they took the original film of Gojira 54 to make the digital copy, they they destroyed the film.
What?
Yep.
What?
The original film. The original film of Gojira 1954 is no
Wait a minute. Even the negatives?
The negatives, all of it, or the filming, or the film itself is destroyed. When I learned about that, I'm like, oh fuck! Because here's the thing about your Gojira 54, or your digital version. There's some clear freaking problems in this movie. You're cutting. Your editing, holy shit, is a problem because she's talking and you see her get up and then she's sitting back and talking to him again. Yeah. And it's like,
what the hell? How do you not take
the process killed it? The process of it killed it.
Son of a bitch.
Well, you're talking about like a 70-year-old.
Yeah,
you were literally talking about a 70-year-old piece of film.
Yeah, no, and I understand that, but still, how do you not take every precaution possible? Son of a bitch.
Well,
it's happening,
man. Was
yeah, I know, and I get that, but still, son of a bitch.
I know, I get it.
Original negatives for Highlander were destroyed as well.
So we're
due to that was due to a fire.
Oh, okay. Well, that sucks, but okay, it wasn't because somebody screwed up. It's because fire.
Well, nobody knows the real reason how the film got destroyed. But all I know is that when I was watching the end of Gojira 54, it said the film or the film negatives for this was did not survive the making of the digital version. And I'm like, fuck, you guys just lost history.
Well, I think
that'd be like that would have been like when they were remastering when they did the remaster for Star Wars in the mid 90s, and they would have screwed that up somehow. Like, how like they did a better job with Star Wars, and they son of a bitch.
But also, speaking of Japanese stuff right now, congratulations to my favorite Japanese actor Hiroyuki Sanada for winning an Emmy.
Best actor for Shogun.
Awesome. Oh,
for Shogun.
Best actor for Shogun, man. Now, the woman, the girl who was also the girl who was also in the movie or in the show, or the white guy was fallen in love with. Oh God, I can't remember her name, but she was also in the Monarch show as the teacher. She should have won Best Actress because, goddamn, she did a great job too.
Oh, she was fantastic.
And yes, folks,
when I started watching Shogun, and I'm gonna probably get off of here in the next 10 minutes, but man, when I saw this whole thing about Shogun, and I saw this, and I saw I was like, this is going to be epic.
Oh yeah. And here's the thing. We all know Hulu and FX and all of them are owned by the House of Mouse. I can watch Shogun and not be ashamed. You want to know why? Because when Hiroyuki Sanada was approached for Shogun, he told them in no uncertain terms, You are not pushing any agendas for this show. You are going to respect our heritage.
Ooh.
The second you don't, I walk.
Yes, I
That
remember
man
you.
gave them the ultimate ultimatum, and Disney flinched. And Disney's like, "Yes, sir."
That man
could you not?
That man had 10-ton brass balls, and he swung hard, and they went, "Okay."
Well, that's the problem.
Yes.
They're a bunch of corporate white guys. They've not gone against the passionate Japanese guy who's like, "You're going to do my culture right."
Hey,
Well,
MB,
that's the thing. They always go to him for anything that has to do with samurai or Japanese culture and whatnot. If you look at movies like The Last Samurai, 47 Ronin, and even Bullet Train, and John Wick Chapter 4, they all deferred to him when it came to anything Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we want to do this right. So it's like,
hey, MB, I can come up with a better analogy that I just did.
Yeah.
That man has balls made out of Torii Hanzo steel.
Oh, there you go, buddy.
Well, hopefully somebody has a reel-to-reel of Godzilla 54, because at least that'll.
This is a new feeling. Pride in someone else.
I will say this, kind of circling back to our kaiju discussion. I recently picked up a copy just for the hell of it of Kong Skull Island, and I rewatched it, and I'm like, you know what? This is actually aged really well.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Brie Larson.
Oh, for Pete's sakes, will you get off her?
I was never on her.
Yeah,
well,
she's
too flat.
Yeah, because she wouldn't have. Yeah, because she wouldn't have your flabby ass.
Flabby ass. She's the one who has the flat ass.
I mean,
hey, it's better to have a flat ass than a flabby one.
Man, I could take a.
Boy, you are testing yourself, boy.
Boy, I just turned 46, young man, so you hush.
I'd rather.
Shut your fucking mouth! Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
God,
No.
I can't stand the British with that thing. Anyway, Orange Hat, Ambassador, Junebug,
See you,
it's
bud.
10:30. I've got construction going on. Ambassador,
Okay.
you know what I got going on.
Okay, bye.
All right.
So I'm going to head out.
All right,
Bye,
take
you
it easy,
Crutchfield.
NB. Good to see
Bye.
you, man.
Bye,
I mean,
Crutchfield Fart. We love you.
I mean, with as far as Brie Larson, I'd rather try to get turned on by a pencil or something, because that's about what she looks
Pete's
like.
sake, she is not that bad looking. Y'all are just a bunch of bitter old flabby
I
men.
don't focus on physical, dude. The way that I am, my mind doesn't focus on physical attributes.
You want to know something? You want to know some trivia about Brie Larson?
Not really, because it's probably something
She has
bad,
a
so
doppelganger that did porn.
There
France?
was a TV show called Hope and Faith that she did the first
that's
season.
that's actually funny. That was
She-
actually funny.
She did a TV show called Hope and Faith. The producers of the show said, "This girl can't act, and she sucks." And you know who they replaced her with? Megan Fox.
She can't
'Cause
exactly
they-
act either.
That
Yeah, well-
blood sucking demon demon bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Oh yeah. And as far as the Godzilla thing,
literally.
as far as Godzilla, like I said, hopefully somebody finds an original film, reel to reel or something of Godzilla. And this has happened before too with film too. John Wayne's The Alamo. The original film is lost. The only way it is one of the reasons why I will argue that there are some forms of physical media that are still relevant, because the only way to get the original film for The Alamo is on VHS and Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Because
You know,
that
I've never
film,
actually- Go ahead, Joe.
that film was found when they were trying to do the DVD copy. They literally just had it sitting in a barn in a suitcase with,
for heaven's sakes,
with covered. And we're actually lucky that it was even capable and as good as it looks on DVD because it was covered in barn dust, rat turds, and all sorts of other things. And this is one of the reasons why it's like, you know, what they say that it's such an interesting topic. They sit there and say, like, look how many silent movies we still have. They say over 70% of silent movies are lost.
I believe it.
And, you know, it's like it is one of the reasons I support digital because it's easier to store. I mean, I don't think there's many lost digital films.
Not particularly, no.
But no, I mean, so I just hope that somebody, at least for future digital processes, has a reel-to-reel of Godzilla 54.
I hope so. You know, when I was growing up, VHS was the thing. Obviously, we all know this. And mother and mom and dad and my grandmother, they were the ones that really one of the things we all did as a family, we watched movies together. I mean, we did other things, obviously, but it really sticks in my memory. And her dad passed on and grandmother passed on. Everything was just me and mom for, you know, well, it has been me and her until, well, and her brother, but unfortunately he's gone now too. But for the longest time, it was just me and her. And then when the whole thing with DVD came out, I was like, oh, hey, this is actually kind of cool. And mom was like, I don't know about this. She's like, the disc could get scratched. She's like, it's like a CD, essentially. I'm like, yeah, it's a CD, but it's a movie. She's like, yeah, but can't the disc get damaged? I'm like, yeah, but that's only if you're really haphazard with it. And she's still kind of on the fence about it, but she has warmed way more up to DVD than when it first came out and everything. But the funny thing is, and I say this with a bit of humor, also with a bit of sadness, when she goes, I'm going to inherit her entire movie collection, which includes both DVDs and VHS. And I'm trying to think to myself, what the hell am I going to do with all those VHS tapes? I mean, I could probably get them digitized, or get them transferred over to DVD, but some of them are movies that we have already, but at the same time, what the hell am I going to do with them all?
Well, I know I know what he could do with them. Buy Blockbuster and make Blockbuster great again.
There's only one Blockbuster still currently, or there's like one or two Blockbusters still open.
There's only one.
Or
yeah,
one?
There's only one. It's up at it's on the West Coast. I think it's up in like
Bend, Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon.
I think they're actually planning on bringing them back.
I've heard.
Oh, please.
I've heard that. I've heard that. Basically, what I've heard is they want to do it like how they brought back Toys R Us.
Well, how they did that kind of sucked. I mean, at least in my area, it did.
Well,
I was expecting like a whole floor in a Macy's, and it was like one little corner. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Actually,
bringing back. Go ahead.
Here's how you bring back Blockbuster. You since people aren't gonna really go out there and rent a movie just anymore, you would have to make it another side of a business. You would basically
no, I get that.
Like maybe partner up with a pizza company. You know, so you can. So like, let's just use Pizza Hut. Let's just have Pizza Hut as an example. You know, even though Pizza Hut sucks. Even though Pizza Hut sucks now.
Doesn't suck. Doesn't. What the hell are you talking about?
They changed the recipe. It sucks now.
Not in my area, they didn't, so I don't know where you live, but in my area, Pizza Hut's still good, so you shut your face.
America's heartland.
Anyway.
But so they partner up with a pizza company, and then basically you can order pizza and then a movie.
I could see that.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope Blockbuster can come back. And the other thing that could honestly get them back is take the McDonald's approach. You know how McDonald's has so many franchises right now?
I don't even want to think about it.
Well, they have a subsidiary business that's a real estate business company.
That doesn't surprise me, considering Ray Kroc was actually kind of a crook, at least according to the movie The Founder. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Ray Kroc wasn't the leprous that everybody thought he was.
No,
we are going to have to start wrapping this up, folks.
Oh, that's fine, because I was getting ready to head out myself anyway.
All right. See you guys.
All right,
Well,
later, Junebug.
Before we do, I do want to thank everybody who came in, Junebug, NB, Ambassador.
Of course.
Thank you to Orville Nation, Hardwick Bentho, Conroy Riker, Vanya, and Christian Freitz for being in the chat. Hardwick, I've read articles about how the great independent video rental stores used to be and how Blockbuster ruined everything by putting most of them out of business. Well, shit happens, you know. But anyway, thank you to all on X, all 31 of you who are tuned in. You guys are awesome. If you want to support my channel on YouTube, the best thing to do, sub to it and share my content and hit the like button. Those are the main three things. Those things help my channel grow. I'm not doing this for money, folks. I'm doing this to inform, to help people learn things here and there about movies, about entertainment, about the controversies of Hollywood. I ain't doing this for a paycheck. I'm doing this for free. This is a hobby. So if you want to help out, that's the best way to do it, because it's those people people like me who actually have that level of humility that want to be informative. I ain't doing it for clicks, however, those do help. I'm just doing it to help or to maybe inform people, you know? But yes, thank you to everybody. Tomorrow I have my theme stream for Godzilla Kaiju at 1:30 or possibly 1 p.m. It's either 1 or 1:30 p.m., folks. It's most likely going to be 1 because it's Godzilla. It's going to be a little bit longer than my usual. Tuesday night is the Barroom Podcast. Hopefully, I will have a stable signal this time. I was kind of bummed when I didn't. Yep, sorry, guys. And whatnot. But yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I just read something weird in the private chat. But yeah, thank you to everybody who tuned in. And Wednesday is Jade Shadow 8:30 on her channel for X-Men 1. X 8:30 on X for the Wolverine Unleashed on my profile at Orange Hat 2185 right there. Friday is Orange Hat Uncensored, and Sunday is the weekly recap with me, Ambassador and Nerd with a Cigar. So thank you to everybody who tuned in. You all have a wonderful night, and always remember to stay humble. Peace.
Are you done? Are you